The ship's hull screamed as it tore through Earth's atmosphere, trailing fire across the night sky over Nevada. Lieutenant Connor Hayes watched his radar screen light up with impossible readings. The object was decelerating too fast, pulling maneuvers that should have liquefied any pilot inside. Command, this is Nellis Tower. We have an unidentified craft performing a controlled descent, requesting immediate backup. The response crackled back, all units scramble. Lethal force authorized if necessary. Connor's hands moved across the console, tracking the vessel as it dropped below cloud cover. 355s roared past the tower, their afterburners painting orange streaks against the dark. He switched to their comm channel. Phantom lead. Target is descending at grid reference Delta 7. Approach with extreme caution. Copy that, tower. We have visual. It's not one of ours. The craft settled onto the desert floor, 15 miles from base perimeter. Sleek organic curves reflected moonlight like polished bone. Connor grabbed his sidearm and joined the convoy racing toward the landing site. Humvees kicked up clouds of dust, headlights cutting through the darkness. They formed a perimeter around the ship. Soldiers aimed rifles at the seamless hull, waiting. Connor stepped forward, heart hammering against his ribs. The hull split open with a sound like tearing silk. She emerged slowly, hands raised, humanoid but wrong in subtle ways. Skin that shifted between blue and silver depending on the light. Eyes too large, pupils too vertical. She wore something between armor and living tissue that pulsed with faint bioluminescence. "Don't move," Connor shouted, weapon trained on her chest. She spoke, and the words bypassed his ears entirely, forming directly in his mind. "Please, they are hunting me." "Who's hunting you?" Before she could answer, the sky split open. 3 massive ships materialized overhead, triangular and brutal, blotting out the stars. Red light swept across the desert, searching. "Get down!" Connor tackled her behind a Humvee as the first energy beam carved a molten trench across the sand. Soldiers scattered, returning fire uselessly. The alien woman grabbed his wrist, her touch ice cold. "They will destroy everything to reach me. Your weapons cannot stop them, but I can offer you something. A trade." "What trade?" Explosions bloomed across the desert. Men screamed. The alien ships descended like falling mountains. "My knowledge for your protection. I carry secrets that will elevate your species beyond anything you imagine. But first, you must get me somewhere safe, somewhere they cannot scan." Connor looked at the chaos erupting around them, at the soldiers dying against an enemy they couldn't hurt, at this strange woman who spoke in his skull and brought devastation in her wake. He made a choice that would change humanity forever. "Come with me, now." Connor dragged her toward the last intact Humvee as plasma fire turned sand to glass. Sergeant Kate Morgan was already behind the wheel, engine roaring. "Get in!" Kate screamed. They dove into the back. Kate floored it, tires spinning before catching traction. The vehicle lurched forward as another beam obliterated the spot they'd occupied seconds before. Connor looked back through the rear window. The alien ships hovered over the burning wreckage, methodically executing search patterns. "Where am I going?" Kate shouted over the engine's roar. "Groom Lake Facility, the deep bunker." Connor turned to the alien. "Those ships, what are they?" "Collectors. My people created them to hunt what they consider defectors." Her mental voice carried weight. "Sadness. I am Vrenna. I stole something they cannot allow to spread." "What did you steal?" Vrenna's hand moved to a device embedded in her chest beneath the living armor, the genetic key to unlock human potential. "Your species is young, Lieutenant. Dormant. You carry sequences in your DNA that were placed there millions of years ago by the architects my people discovered this and suppress the knowledge. We have kept dozens of species locked in evolutionary stasis, never allowing them to ascend. The Humvee hit a dip, went airborne, crashed down hard. Kate fought the wheel, keeping them on course. "You're saying we're supposed to be something more?" Connor asked. "Far more, but it requires activation, a catalyst." Vrenna's eyes glowed brighter. "I defected because I believe all species deserve their birthright. The collectors will kill me and destroy any evidence I existed. Your government will dissect me and learn nothing useful. But if you help me survive, I will give humanity the key." Red light swept over them. Kate swerved hard left, barely avoiding the scanning beam. Connor's radio exploded with chatter. The base was mobilizing everything they had. Nothing worked. Missiles detonated against shields that rippled like water. Bullets melted before impact. "We're not going to make it to Groom Lake," Kate said. "Those things are too fast." Connor's mind raced. Then it hit him. The mine. Old copper mine, 12 miles west. Tunnels go down 800 feet, reinforced with concrete from Cold War experiments. If we can get underground deep enough, their scanners cannot penetrate that far into Earth's crust, Vrenna finished. Yes, it could work. Kate yanked the wheel, changing course. The Humvee bounced over rough terrain, suspension screaming. Behind them, one collector ship broke formation and gave chase. It moved with impossible grace, closing the distance. "We're not going to make it," Kate yelled. Vrenna stood up through the open roof hatch, wind whipping her hair. She pressed both hands to the device on her chest. Blue lightning arced from her fingertips into the sky. The pursuing ship's shields flickered, stuttered, died. "Now, Lieutenant, your weapons will work for 30 seconds. Connor grabbed the mounted 50 caliber machine gun, swung it around, and opened fire. Tracer rounds stitched across the collector ship's hull. Armor plating cracked. The ship lurched sideways, smoke trailing from a ruptured engine. But the other two ships were coming. There, Kate pointed. The mine entrance loomed ahead, a black mouth in the hillside surrounded by rusted equipment and warning signs. She didn't slow down. The Humvee smashed through the rotted wooden barricade and plunged into darkness. Headlights revealed a steep descending tunnel. Kate rode the brakes, tires screaming against stone as they spiraled down into the earth. The tunnel shook. Dust and rocks rained from above. The collectors were firing at the mountain itself. "They'll collapse it," Connor shouted. "Let them," Vrenna said calmly. "We only need to go deeper." The Humvee bottomed out on level ground. They were in a vast chamber carved from living rock. Old equipment rusted in corners. Support beams held up a ceiling that groaned ominously. Kate killed the engine. Silence pressed in, broken only by distant rumbling from above. Vrenna stepped out, surveying their shelter. "This will suffice. They cannot dig us out without destroying the entire region. That would draw too much attention from the Galactic Council. They will wait. Establish a perimeter. Opie surface." "How long can we last down here?" Kate asked. "As long as necessary." Vrenna turned to Connor, her alien features somehow conveying absolute determination. "Because tonight, Lieutenant, I begin payment for my sanctuary. Tonight I give you the first key, and humanity takes its first step toward becoming gods." Vrenna moved to the center of the chamber and knelt, pressing her palm against the stone floor. The device in her chest pulsed brighter, casting blue shadows across the walls. Connor and Kate watched, weapons still ready, unsure what to expect. "The human genome contains 12 dormant helices beyond your current 2-strand DNA structure," Vrenna began, her mental voice resonating through both their minds simultaneously. "The architects seeded your world 4 million years ago. They designed you to evolve into something extraordinary. But my people found Earth first. We locked those sequences before they could activate naturally. Why? Connor asked. Why would you keep us trapped? Fear. A fully awakened human is dangerous. Your species combines aggression with adaptability, creativity with ruthlessness. You survive conditions that kill others. You thrive in chaos. Imagine those traits amplified 1,000-fold, combined with abilities you currently classify as impossible. The ground trembled again. Dirt sifted down from cracks spreading across the ceiling. The collectors were systematically destroying the mountain's structural integrity. We don't have much time, Kate said, checking her ammunition. Whatever you're going to do it fast. Brenna's hand sank into the stone as if it were liquid. She pulled out a crystalline object that hadn't existed moments before, shaped like a double helix, but with intricate geometric patterns spiraling through its core. This is a genetic primer. It contains the activation sequence for the first 3 dormant helices. I will demonstrate using myself as template, then apply it to both of you. The transformation is painful. Your body will restructure at the cellular level, but you will emerge capable of feats that currently seem like magic. What kind of feats? Connor's hand instinctively went to his sidearm. Brenna smiled, an expression that looked almost human. Watch. She pressed the crystal against her chest. It melted into her skin, disappearing. Her body convulsed. Bones cracked and reformed. Muscles tore and rebuilt themselves denser, stronger. Her screams echoed through the chamber, but she remained kneeling, enduring. After 30 seconds, she stood. She moved differently now, with fluid grace that made her previous movements seem clumsy. She walked to a support beam, thick steel and concrete, and gripped it with one hand. The beam crumpled like tinfoil. Enhanced physical capabilities, strength, speed, reflexes. That is the first helix. She turned to face a pile of mining equipment 30 feet away. Her eyes flashed. The equipment lifted into the air, hovering. Telekinetic potential. That is the second helix. The equipment settled back down gently, and the third helix grants regenerative capabilities. Observe. She pulled a piece of metal from the wall and dragged it across her palm, opening a deep gash. Blood welled up. Then the wound sealed itself, skin knitting together in seconds, leaving no scar. Your turn, Vrenna said. Kate stepped forward first. If this is real, we need every advantage. Do it. Vrenna created another crystal from nothing, pulled it from the air itself. She pressed it against Kate's chest. The sergeant gasped as it merged with her skin, then collapsed to her knees, teeth clenched against the pain. Connor watched Kate's body transform. Her muscles redefined themselves, becoming leaner but somehow more dense. Her breathing became labored, then suddenly deeper, more efficient. Veins of light crawled beneath her skin before fading. Kate stood on shaking legs. She looked at her hands, flexing fingers that could now bend steel. This is impossible. I feel everything, the vibrations in the air from the ships above. Your heartbeats, the structural weaknesses in the ceiling. It's like my senses exploded outward. Your turn, Lieutenant, Vrenna said, already forming the third crystal. Connor hesitated. This was beyond any decision he'd trained for. Accepting alien modification violated every protocol. But watching Kate move with her new capabilities, feeling the mountain shake as the collectors prepared their final assault, he realized protocols meant nothing anymore. Do it! The crystal touched his chest and sank in. Fire erupted through his veins. Every nerve ending screamed simultaneously. His skeleton felt like it was being pulled apart and reassembled. He wanted to scream, but couldn't draw breath. His vision went white, then red, then colors he had no names for, then clarity. He stood, and the world had changed. He could see individual dust particles floating through the air, hear the electromagnetic hum of Vrenna's technology, feel the microscopic tremors as the mountain's foundation cracked under orbital bombardment, and he felt strong. Stronger than any human had ever been. How many others can we transform? Connor asked. With my knowledge and your resources, millions eventually. But it must be controlled, gradual. Mass transformation would trigger galactic intervention. We must be careful, strategic. An explosion rocked the chamber. The ceiling cracked open, revealing night sky and the looming shapes of collector ships. Time's up, Kate said, raising her rifle. The three of them stood together as debris rained down, and alien soldiers began descending on rappel lines, their weapons glowing with lethal charge. Vrenna smiled. Then let us show them what activated humans can do. The first wave of collector soldiers hit the ground in perfect formation. 12 of them, armored in segmented plating that shifted like living metal. They raised weapons that hummed with charging energy. Connor didn't think. He moved. His body responded faster than his conscious mind could process. He crossed 30 feet in a single leap, ducking under the first energy blast that vaporized stone where he'd been standing. His fist connected with the collector's helmet. The alien flew backward, armor crumpling, body smashing through mining equipment. Kate was already in motion on the opposite flank. She grabbed a rusted steel beam and swung it like a bat, catching two soldiers mid-aim. The impact sent them sprawling. She dropped the beam and drew her sidearm, firing with precision that bordered on precognitive. Every shot found gaps in armor plating, dropping collectors before they could recover. Vrenna stood in the center, hands raised. Blue energy crackled around her fingers. She thrust both palms forward, and a shock wave of force exploded outward, hurling 4 soldiers backward into the walls hard enough to crack stone. But more were coming. Rappel lines descended through the widening hole in the ceiling, bringing reinforcements. 20 soldiers, 30. They spread out with military efficiency, creating overlapping fields of fire. "We can't hold them all," Kate shouted, taking cover behind an overturned ore cart. Connor's enhanced mind calculated trajectories, predicted movements, assessed weaknesses. He spotted structural vulnerabilities in the chamber ceiling, where collector weapons had weakened support columns. "Vrenna!" The support said grid positions 4 and 7. "Can you collapse them strategically?" She understood instantly. Her eyes tracked the indicated points. "Yes, but we'll be buried too. Not if we're fast enough. Kate, when the ceiling comes down, we run for the north tunnel. It's reinforced, leads deeper into the mountain." "That's insane," Kate said. Then she grinned. "Let's do it." Vrenna raised both hands. Telekinetic force gripped the weakened supports. Metal groaned. Concrete cracked. The collectors noticed too late. They tried to retreat up their rappel lines as the ceiling began its catastrophic collapse. "Now!" Connor screamed. Vrenna released her power. Tons of rock and steel crashed down, crushing collectors and sealing the chamber. Connor grabbed Vrenna's arm. Kate was already moving. They sprinted toward the north tunnel as the world fell apart behind them. Debris chased them down the passage. Connor's enhanced reflexes let him dodge falling stones that would have killed him seconds before. Kate moved like water flowing around obstacles. Vrenna's armor glowed brighter, creating a shield that deflected smaller impacts. They ran 300 yards before the collapse stopped pursuing them. The tunnel sealed behind them, leaving only darkness and the sound of settling debris. Kate activated a chemlight, bathing them in green luminescence. "We're trapped down here now." "No," Vrenna said, pointing deeper into the tunnel. "These mines connect to an old military bunker system. I scanned the geological data during our descent. There's an exit 17 miles northeast, 17 miles underground," Connor said, "with an alien army above us and God knows what down here. And we have abilities those collectors never expected humans to possess," Vrenna countered. "They will assume we died in the collapse. That gives us advantage." They moved deeper, Following Vrenna's innate sense of direction, the tunnel opened into a vast network of passages, some natural cave formations, others clearly man-made. Old equipment littered intersections. Signs warned of radiation, toxic gas, unstable ground. Connor's enhanced senses picked up something else. Warmth, air movement. We're not alone down here. Kate felt it too. Movement. The Southwest Passage. Multiple contacts. They pressed against the tunnel wall, weapons ready. Footsteps echoed through the darkness, accompanied by voices speaking English with Southern accents. 6 people emerged into the intersection. Humans, dressed in makeshift protective gear, carrying old mining lamps and scavenged weapons. They froze when they saw Connor, Kate, and Vrenna. An older man with a grizzled beard stepped forward cautiously. "Military?" "Was," Connor said. "What are you doing down here?" "Living, surviving. Been down here since the grid went dark 3 months ago. Topside went to hell. Figured the deep places were safer." His eyes locked onto Vrenna. "What is that?" "A friend," Kate said firmly. "She's with us." The bearded man studied them. "You're different. Move different. Something happened to you." Vrenna stepped forward slowly, non-threatening. "I can help your people. Protect them. But I need you to trust me." "Trust? Lady, you're not even human." "No, but I offer humanity a gift. The same gift I gave these 2 soldiers. Strength, healing, abilities that will let you survive what's coming." Another person from the group spoke up, a young woman with scared eyes. "What's coming?" Connor exchanged glances with Kate. They'd been so focused on immediate survival, they hadn't considered the larger implications. The collectors wouldn't stop. They'd level the entire region searching for Vrenna. "War," Connor said quietly. "An alien force hunting her. They'll kill anyone who gets in their way, but she can give us the power to fight back." The bearded man laughed bitterly. "Power? Against ships that can destroy mountains? You're crazy." "Maybe," Kate said, "but we just killed 30 alien soldiers and survived a mountain collapse. We're still standing, still fighting, and we're getting stronger." Vrenna created a crystal from nothing, letting it hover in her palm. "I offer this freely, no coercion, but understand that accepting it changes you permanently. You become something more than human, something the galaxy fears." The group huddled together, whispering urgently. Finally, the bearded man turned back. "How many of those crystals can you make?" Vrenna smiled. "As many as there are humans willing to ascend." Over the next 6 hours, Vrenna transformed 43 humans in the tunnels beneath Nevada. Each transformation followed the same brutal pattern: pain, restructuring, emergence into something greater. Connor and Kate moved through the growing group, helping people through the worst of it, explaining what they could expect. A former engineer named Garrett was the 5th to transform. When he stood, he immediately understood the structural integrity of the entire tunnel system, could feel stress points and safe routes through pure intuition. "I can map a path to the surface that avoids all collector scan patterns. I can feel the electromagnetic signatures they're using." A nurse named Lisa discovered she could sense biological functions, diagnose injuries without equipment, accelerate healing in others through touch. She moved through the group, fixing old wounds, curing infections that had plagued them for months underground. Each person brought something unique. The dormant helices awakened differently based on individual neural patterns, life experiences, genetic predispositions. Some gained enhanced combat reflexes. Others developed technological intuition that let them interface with machinery through thought alone. One teenager named Marcus could manipulate localized gravity fields. "This is just the first 3 helices," Vrenna explained as the group assembled in a large cavern that had become their staging area. 9 more remain locked. Each subsequent activation multiplies your capabilities geometrically, but attempting too much too fast would destroy your minds. You must adapt gradually. How long until we can unlock more? Garrett asked. Weeks, months. It depends on individual adjustment rates, but even with just these 3 activated, you're already more formidable than most species in the galaxy. Connor stood on a natural stone platform overlooking the group. 43 transformed humans, with more survivors arriving from deeper tunnels every hour. Word was spreading. People were coming. We need a plan, he said. The collectors aren't going away. They're establishing a perimeter above us, waiting for us to surface. Eventually, they'll start deep scanning with equipment that can penetrate even this far down. Kate joined him on the platform. Then we don't wait. We hit them first. Against 3 capital ships with orbital weapons? Someone shouted from the crowd. Yes, Kate said simply, because they're not expecting it. They think humans are weak, primitive. They're waiting for us to run scared. Instead, we bring the fight to them. Vrenna's expression became thoughtful. There is a possibility. Collector ships have a vulnerability. Their shield generators require massive power cores located in the lower decks. If those cores are damaged, the shields collapse entirely. But reaching them requires getting aboard. How? Lisa asked. The ships maintain constant sensor sweeps, but there are gaps in their coverage, brief windows when systems reset, 4.3 seconds every 6 minutes. During those gaps, someone moving fast enough could reach the hull undetected. Marcus raised his hand. I can help with that. My gravity manipulation. I can create localized fields that would let people jump higher, move faster, stick to surfaces. I've been practicing. I can get someone up there. Connor felt pieces falling into place. We split into teams. Marcus gets strike groups onto each ship during the sensor gaps. Garrett guides them to the power cores using his electromagnetic sense. The rest provide distraction. Make them think we're attacking from ground level. It's suicide, the bearded man who'd given his name as Clayton said. You're talking about assaulting 3 warships with 43 people. 43 enhanced humans, Vrenna corrected. Never underestimate what that means. The collectors have fought thousands of species, but none of those species had humans' particular combination of aggression, adaptability, and now actual power to match their determination. A voice came from the back of the cavern. I'll go. A woman stepped forward, athletic build, moving with the controlled grace of someone who'd completed transformation hours ago. Name's Rachel, former Air Force. I've wanted to fight back since the moment those ships appeared. Now I actually can. Others stepped forward. Military veterans, civilians who'd lost everything, people who'd spent months hiding, running, surviving. Now they had power. Now they had purpose. Within an hour, they had 3 strike teams of 6 people each, plus Garrett acting as remote guide. The remaining members would create surface-level distractions, drawing collector attention away from the actual assault vectors. Vrenna pulled Connor aside as preparations continued. You understand what you're initiating? If humans succeed here, if you prove capable of defeating collector forces, the galactic community will take notice. Some will want to ally with you. Others will want to destroy you before you become a threat. We're already a threat, Connor said. The moment you gave us those crystals, we stopped being primitive apes hiding in caves. We became something they should fear. Yes, but fear makes enemies desperate. What comes after this battle will be worse, much worse. Then we'll adapt. That's what humans do. You said it yourself. We survive conditions that kill others. We thrive in chaos. Connor met her alien eyes. You gave us the tools. Now watch what we build with them. Garrett appeared, excitement in his voice. I found something. The old bunker system connects to a missile silo 3 miles from here, abandoned since the Cold War. but the elevator shaft still reaches the surface, and better yet, there's equipment down there. Old weapons, explosives, stuff that might actually be useful. Show me, Connor said. They descended deeper, following Garrett's instinctive navigation through passages that hadn't seen humans in decades. The bunker emerged from darkness like a relic from another age. Concrete walls 3 feet thick, blast doors rusted but still functional, and inside, crates of ordnance that had waited half a century for purpose. Kate pried open a container. Rocket launchers, grenades, claymore mines, primitive by collector standards, but combined with our enhanced strength and speed, we can deploy them in ways the collectors won't expect, Connor finished. Garrett, can you rig these to respond to electromagnetic triggers? Already thinking about it. With my new abilities, I can modify the detonators, create a wireless network. We could turn this entire mountain into one massive trap. Connor looked at the assembled weapons, the transformed humans gathering supplies, Vrenna standing quiet watch, 43 enhanced humans against 3 warships and hundreds of collector soldiers. The odds were terrible, which meant they were exactly the kind of odds humans specialized in beating. We move at dawn, Connor announced. Time to show the galaxy what humanity really is. They hit the surface in 3 waves as the sun broke over the Nevada desert. Garrett's electromagnetic sense had mapped every collector position, every patrol pattern, every sensor sweep. Marcus used his gravity manipulation to launch the first strike team 60 feet straight up, sending them arcing through the brief sensor gap toward the closest collector ship's hull. Rachel led that team. They hit the dark metal surface and stuck, Marcus's gravity fields holding them in place, like insects on glass. Enhanced strength let them tear through hull plating with their bare hands. They disappeared inside as alarms began screaming. The second team launched toward the middle ship. The third went for the flagship. Connor stayed on the ground with Kate, Brenna, and 20 others, creating the distraction. They emerged from the missile silo into chaos. Collector soldiers had established a perimeter around the mountain, hundreds of them in defensive positions. Connor didn't slow down. He hit the first squad at full speed, enhanced reflexes letting him dodge energy blasts that would have vaporized him. His fist went through armor plating, collapsing chest cavities. Kate was beside him, moving like lightning, her commandeered collector rifle firing with impossible accuracy. Lisa hung back, using her biological sense to coordinate the team, calling out enemy positions before soldiers could react. Clayton wielded a steel beam like a club, each swing pulverizing multiple targets. The transformed humans fought with savage efficiency that shocked their alien opponents, but the real damage was happening inside the ships. Rachel's team reached the first power core. Garrett had guided them through corridors, avoiding security checkpoints, finding maintenance shafts. The core sat in a massive chamber, pulsing with energy that made their teeth ache. "Plant the charges," Rachel ordered. They brought the old explosives from the bunker, modified with Garrett's electromagnetic triggers. The team placed them around the core's support structure and ran. The explosion tore through the ship's lower decks. Shields flickered and died. The collector ship listed sideways, unable to maintain altitude. It crashed into the desert 3 miles away with an impact that registered on seismographs worldwide. 1 down. The second team encountered heavier resistance. Collector soldiers flooded the corridors, firing indiscriminately. But humans who could dodge bullets, who could tear through bulkheads, who could fight with coordinated precision that came from enhanced neural processing, they carved through opposition that should have stopped them. They reached the second core. More charges. Another massive explosion. The ship's reactor went critical, detonating in a fireball that lit up the dawn sky. 2 down. The flagship was different. It had better defenses, more soldiers, and a commander who was adapting to human tactics. The third strike team fought deck by deck, taking casualties. A man named Taurus went down, hit by concentrated fire, but even wounded, his enhanced regeneration kept him alive long enough for teammates to drag him to safety. On the ground, Connor's group had pushed through the perimeter. Bodies littered the sand, collector and human both. But the humans kept getting back up, regeneration healing wounds that should have been fatal. They pressed forward, relentless. Vrenna stood at the center of the battlefield, her abilities fully unleashed. She lifted tanks telekinetically and hurled them at enemy positions. Energy blasts that struck her shields dissipated harmlessly. She was magnificent and terrifying. "The third ship is pulling back," Garrett's voice crackled through their improvised communication network. "They're retreating to orbit." "Can't let them report back," Connor said. "Vrenna, can you ground them?" "Not from here. But if someone can damage their primary engines," Marcus stepped forward, "I can reach them. Launch me high enough, I'll create a gravity well that pulls them down." It was insane, but insane was becoming standard procedure. Connor and Kate combined their strength, literally throwing Marcus skyward. The teenager soared 300 feet up, arms spread wide, his power activated, creating a localized gravity anomaly that grabbed the fleeing flagship like an invisible hand. The ship fought its engines, trying to break free. Metal groaned. Then the third strike team inside reached the final power core and detonated their charges. The flagship's engines exploded. It plummeted, accelerating as Marcus's gravity well pulled harder. It hit the desert floor nose first, plowing a trench half a mile long before coming to rest as a smoking ruin. Silence fell across the battlefield. 43 enhanced humans stood among the wreckage of 3 collector warships and hundreds of dead alien soldiers. They were bloodied, exhausted, some injured despite their regeneration, but they were alive, and they had won. Vrenna walked to Connor's side, surveying the destruction. "You understand what you have done? The collectors will send word. The Galactic Council will investigate. Humanity just announced itself as a power that cannot be ignored." Connor looked at his people, at Kate, at Garrett, at Lisa, and Marcus, and Rachel, and all the others who had been ordinary humans yesterday and were now something unprecedented. "Good," he said. "Let them come. Let the whole galaxy know. Humanity is awake now. We're not hiding anymore. We're not staying locked in evolutionary stasis. Vrenna gave us the key, but we turned it ourselves. We chose to become more." Kate grinned, despite her exhaustion. "So what now?" Vrenna created another crystal, larger than the others, complex patterns spiraling through its heart. "Now I teach you to create these yourselves. You spread the gift to others, carefully, strategically, but inevitably. And when humanity is ready, when enough of you have ascended, I unlock the next 3 helices." "And then?" Clayton asked. "Then," Vrenna said, her alien features showing something that might have been pride, "humanity stops being a young species stumbling in the dark. You become what the architects always intended: powerful, dangerous, unstoppable." She looked at the rising sun, at the transformed humans gathering around her, at the destroyed warships smoking in the desert. "You asked me what I stole from my people. This is it. The knowledge that humanity's potential terrifies even the oldest species in the galaxy. They tried to keep you small, keep you manageable, but I have seen what you truly are." Vrenna smiled. "You are the species that says, 'Screw the odds,' and wins anyway. You are survivors who become conquerors. You are the ones who look at impossible situations and see opportunities. I gave you tools, yes, but you were always going to be magnificent. I simply accelerated the inevitable." Connor extended his hand. Vrenna took it. "Welcome to Earth. he said. You needed a place to stay. You've got it, for as long as you want it. Then I will stay, Frenna replied, and watch humanity become what gods fear. Above them, satellites and telescopes from a dozen nations had captured everything. The world had witnessed humans fighting aliens and winning. Nothing would ever be the same. Humanity's age of ascension had begun, and the galaxy would never forget the day an alien woman needed sanctuary, and in payment gave humanity